実況をご覧の皆さん、こんにちは。動画をご覧の皆様、こんにちは、こんばんは、お疲れ様です。勝成あたりの勝成です。ですね、はい、終わったんですけど、先ほど、先ほど、全部、とりあえずストーリーね、これ去年から、こんな、全部終わったんですけども、ボーナスコンテンツがありまして、これ僕ちょっとね、これ、本作のキャストたちとかね、これ、全部ね、ちょっと見たんですけど、興味深い本作のキャストたち、この今回出てる人たちの実写が出ます。これちょっとね、興味深いのでね、ちょっとこれだけでもちょっと配信してみんなで見てみようかなって思います。ちょっとこれボーナスコンテンツ見たいと思います。
I am Hayden Panettiere, and we are here at the studio recording
これって
Until
サムか
Dawn.
な。
My name is Rami Malek.
ジョシュ
My name is Megan Martin.
My name is Brett Dalton.
My name is Antonella Lentini, and I played Hannah
ハンナ
and
ベ
Beth.
ス
My name is Jordan
Matt
Fisher, and I play the character Matthew, Matt for short.
I'm Nicole Bloom, and I play Emily.
エミリーだ。
My name is Noah Fleiss.
I am Galadriel Steinman, and I
Ashley.
play Ashley.
So, Until Dawn is the story of 18 agents.
これさ、実写で見るとさ、相当こう印象変わるというかさね。
Where I've lost two of my sisters.
あー頭おかしくなった女子だね。
One of the things that Larry does really well is make these
ハンナベ
multi-layered
ス
characters, and I think
ね、
for
ハンナベス
just the story in general, it follows
一人
the
二役なんだよね、これ。
horror film plot lines, but the characters are so
これがアンジェラ・ア
unique
キになる
themselves.
からね。
I think that's very cool.
Oh, this was the right thing to do.
What?
You know, get everyone together on the anniversary. I mean, Josh seemed really pumped about us all doing
も
something,
う
didn't
ほん
he?
とすごいね、技術が。
Definitely did. I haven't seen him so excited.
さっきクリスってどれだったの？
Good.
あれ？
Sam and I have a few things. in
サ
common,
ム
such as
ね、
being
実写でも綺麗だね。
huge lovers of animals.
ね、
And she's a huge animal lover. She's
動物好
vegan.
き、ビーガン。
She
ビーガンって何？
she is a pacifist. I'm not quite sure if I'm going to go as far as saying that I'm a pacifist, but she's spunky and cool. I know
ス
that
パンキ
she,
ーアンキョ
I
ー。
think, is made fun of a little bit by the rest of them who think that her morals and her beliefs in that area are a little ridiculous, and they don't
滑稽
agree
だと
with
思って
them.
批判
But
し
she
て。
doesn't care. It doesn't stop her from being herself, and
ね、強い子だったね、サムは。
I hope I have in common with her.
そこだけ共通点な。
Definitely,
一匹
can be
狼な
depressed
節
at
があ
sometimes
る。
and a bit of a loner, but he
た
takes
まに
some
落ち込むし
solace
ど
in
ころ
one
じゃ
of
ね
his
えよ。
sister's friends, Sam, played by Hayden Panettiere, and invites
Haydenが演
everybody
じるサム
back
に
to
ね。
the same house the next year to kind of find some closure.
Jessica is.
ジェシ
She has a whole
カ
lot of personality.
ジェスカ
She is definitely the sort
めっちゃやりたがってたジェスカ
of character that, you know, at school she-
確実に
you know,
学校ではい
she's
じめっ子タイ
friendly,
プ
she knows that boys like her, and she's gonna use it to her advantage.
首超揺れるな。
You can tell that's very evident, especially how he treats his girlfriend Emily, and you know he's kind of a meathead, but in the best way
意味
possible.
でちょっとバカなんだ。
knows what she wants, and she manages to
すげえな。
get
エ
that
ミリ
from
ー
whomever it is
実写の方が
that
綺
in
麗よ
life,
な。
you know, she's really driven, and I can definitely relate to that.
My
ゲームの
character
中じゃ俺
is,
すげえ嫌いなのに。あ、クリス、これがクリスか。
what
メ
society
ガネかけてないとわからんね。
of the group,
俗にオタクなんだね。
and he kind of embraces it.
Ashley is. She's a little more
Ashley.
serious than some of the other girls. She's definitely very intelligent and
なんか顔の
thoughtful. She
形
kind of
でわかるね。
picture of things. She's
ア
not
シュリ
quite
ー。
as geeky as Chris, but they connect in a lot of ways.
Mike is like big guy on campus. He's
マイクが一番再現度高いよね。こっちが CG じゃないの。
Mike. He gets away with a lot though. He's
実写と CG 変わらんな。
kind of jerky.
The fact that he really just kind of wants everyone to be happy. I mean, wants for he's a people
全
pleaser, and
然。あ、帽子のせいもあるけど、印象違うわな。
you know, that guy. I'm almost
The guy.
the friend that wants everybody to be happy and wants everybody to be taken care of. And that's definitely Matt.
But also, like, this character is just so fun. I rarely get to play the bitch, and so it was really fun to do that.
The spirit of things,
本当に
seriously,
嫌
what's wrong with
だった
you?
わ。
Just trying to lighten the mood, Em. Don't be like that.
Like what?
The way you're
印象違うな、全然。
I just think this is just the coolest thing to be a part of, and
クリスマス
I just think it's going to take the world by storm. I really do. I think this genre is the wave of
面
the
白かった
future,
です。
and I think that once people see the potential behind it, of getting to interact with the drama that you're witnessing unfold,
クリスもっ
in
と
such a
もっと面
realistic
長なイメージあるん
way,
だけど。
that this is how entertainment's going to be from now on.
おお、終わった。シーンができるまで。
Hi, this is Lee Robinson, production
お、
designer
リー・ロ
on
ビン
Until
ソン
Dawn.
プロ
The
ダクショ
production
ンデ
design
ザ
for
イナ
Until
ー。
Dawn started with the great teen horror script that sets the characters in a Canadian winter mountain lodge, being a
Teen horror
contemporary
か。
setting with visual
Teen
clues
horror ってい
derived
うんだ
from
ね、これ。
classic films of that genre, such as Hitchcock's
あ、
Psycho
シャイ
and
ニング
Stanley
ね。
Kubrick's Shining.
シャイニングすごい好きだわ、俺。
The storyboards are vital to the production design as it allows the designer to understand the scale of the environments to be made and the detail that would be seen to create the atmosphere of a horror. This took us into concepts that took these storyboards further, visualizing the world through the color palette, the lighting, tone, and the mood, and developing key locations such as the lodge, the cable car stations, the forests themselves, the wilderness. As you can see, the environments and atmospheres changed quite a bit from warm and inviting to cold and threatening. The Millionaire's Mountain Lodge was a key example. It
これ
was
実写？
designed to be made from nearby stone
すご
and
いね。
timber, embedding it into the landscape, with a contrasting and contemporary interior,
違うか。
needing to be opulent and extravagant. We created dark and claustrophobic
実写
corridors
だと思ったわ。
with ominous
びっく
and
りした
large
わ。
open spaces, almost cathedral-like in size, and with huge structures to silhouette and dwarf the characters within, providing a labyrinth to explore and wander.
いや、探検はしたくなかったよ、正直。
Each character was
怖
developed
い
with
も
a
ん。
strong visual identity in mind, with contrasting colours, tones, and silhouettes to identify them, each to have their own texture, pattern, and shape,
もうす
so
ご
that
いな。
when they
実
were
写見
lined
た
up,
後
you
見
could
ると
always
すごい
identify them.
な、やっぱ。
The costume designs allowed a range of clothes that would suit them for the cold winter weather, but also have an element of style and individualism, so that the audience could look at them and relate, recognizing themselves within them.
A lady would like to cuddle up with her man by a nice
問題のシーンじゃないですか。
atmospheric mood lighting.
ムード作りっていうね、ミッションのとこだね。
Fire and mood lighting.
Yes.
Working with the lighting artists, we really brought the look and feel of the world together, and this required a thorough understanding of the visual language of teen horror. A key scene was where all the characters emerge out of the rear of the lodge chasing Hannah. A contrast is evident straight away from the exterior wilderness to the warmth of the lodge. The attention to character lighting here is through the bounce and rim lighting, accented colours and composition, creating characters that come from the dark into the light and back again with an emotional effect.
Guys, there's someone outside.
そうやってちゃんと解説聞きながらこれ見ると感慨深いね。
Hannah!
めっちゃ寒そうに感じるわ。
What's going on? Where's my sister going?
It's fine. She just can't take a joke.
It was just a prank, Han.
恐怖の科学。恐怖の科学。なんだよ、ほんと怖かったわ。
Until Dawn is a game
Fear.
that's full of horror, and one of the things we decided to do early on was to take a scientific approach to how
やらせたんだ。
scary it was. So we did experiments on people, and
生
we
意気そう
measured
だ
their
な、こいつ。
responses to the game. We've created a test area. It's as close to a home setup as we can get it. We've recruited ordinary people to play the game, and we've left them to play it on their own.
Turning the light on.
電気消してこれはきついわ。
The only difference is it's rigged with cameras and microphones that relay the data through to the next room where people are watching them play. Bracelet here we use for biometric testing. It measures the player's emotional response. It's called a galvanic response sensor. It makes contact with the user's skin and it measures the electrical conductivity across their skin. It's the same principle as an old-fashioned lie detector. When you're stressed, you sweat a little, very sensitive. picks up tiny changes if the player is feeling
科
anxious
学
or
的ア
scared.
プローチっていうけど
That data is fed back to a testing team,
割と
comes through as a graph.
簡素なというかなんでもないですおうああね、そうなるわ目伏せるよなそりゃ目伏せるわめっちゃ反
No
応
point
しとるや
testing
ん
one or two people, you have to test a lot of people.
何人やったん
When we have a scare that's consistently has a measurable emotional response,
超
then we
怖
knew
がっ
it was
とるやん
good. If it didn't have that, it goes back to the team for improvement. The data doesn't tell us what's wrong with the scare, it only tells us if it's working or not.
おうそれヘッドホンしてみもっと怖いから
Here we have a chapter relatively early in the game.
Oh.
Nothing regular about it.
We have to create tension and anxiety
単純
in the
に
player
下のボイラー
so
つ
they
ける
are
だけの
ready
シーン
to
なんだけど
receive
ね
the scare.
おーい怒るなよいや画面見ろや
To give the player time to recover, to cool down, to calm down, and then start building the tension again before we do the next scare.
Hey.
What?
Hey.
顔が
What the hell?
顔が
You just got mugged.
Yeah,
あもうシーン別であれなんだ
There's two things we found. One is we could look at the scares, analyze if our
シーン
expected
別に
scares
一回
were
一回や
working
らせてんか
effectively. Were people shrieking and covering their hands, or were they getting an emotional response from it? And being scientific about it means that we strip out people's opinions about
mosaic
whether things
かかっとる
are working or not. We've got data, and we look at the data. If it's working, we're happy with it.
Really scary.
Bit scared and wanting to get away.
I actually maybe a bit scared to play on my own, but
in a room with the lights on, yeah, with some other people
電
as
気
well.
消しては
Yeah,
き
maybe.
ついわ
Because I'm a scaredy cat, I would play with someone in the room.
問題のあるシャツ着んのやめろや
It was one of the scariest games I've played in a long while.
1000ページ何1000ページってテキスト
Hi, Larry.
Hey,
や
Graham.
られるやろは
Hi, my name is Graham Resnick. I'm a
No.
filmmaker, writer, director, sound designer.
Sound?
And I started working with Larry Fessenden about 10, 15 years ago through my friend Ty West, who I grew up with, and have done a lot of sound design with on his films. And he was producing Ty's films at the time, and Ty introduced me to Larry. Larry produced my first feature.
タイって何国のタイ名前のタ
We've
イ
written together on several projects.
My name is Larry Fessenden.
Oh,
I'm a
oh.
filmmaker. I run
Impact あるな
Glass Eye Pictures, which is an independent production company out of New York.
謎の男の人じゃないよね
Indie
この
movies,
人
a lot of scary movies as well.
あれ
And I got a call to audition to write
金のネックレスがなんか
video game.
肩着を感じさせないね
I called my pal Graham Resnick because Graham is a gamer, and while I thought I could offer something to the idea of writing this multi-branching story, I knew that I would want
なんか笑っちゃうんだよ
Graham's
な
expertise as a lover of gameplay, since I guess games were started. So,
And just as a lover.
and as a lover, yes. That's why there's so many sex jokes.
下ネタ多すぎた
There was one
わ
Italian
多すぎた
website
多すぎた
that said, Larry Fessenden and Graham Resnick, the two lovers behind Until Dawn.
Come here.
また問題のシーンじゃねえか
Maybe
よ
I know how to handle you too.
I am definitely ready to be handled.
So I wanted Graham by my side. Yeah, and we got the gig, and it's been an amazing ride.
Oh, hell yeah.
マイクにやけんなよ
She's taking her shirt off. What? Oh my god. Matt, what are you doing here?
Hannah.
I'm sorry, Hannah. It's all got out
Why?
of hand, but
かわいそ
So
う
in
だ
the
よな
game, the basic setup is that a year prior to the game's start, all these kids had gone up to a ski lodge that was owned by the parents of one of the kids, or a couple of the kids, and Some of the teenagers played a prank on some of the other teenagers, and a terrible tragedy occurred when a few of them, two sisters, ran out into a blizzard. And we're never seen from them.
Wow. あの携帯ってゲーム中俺見つけたっけ？落ちた携帯。手がかりでありそうだよね。
So now, a year later, this is kind of torn apart.
そりゃバラバラになるわ、そりゃ。
Gone through some trials and tribulations in the past year. The brother of the two girls has had a lot of psychological issues, and to kind of help him cope and help them all get over it, they all returned to the lodge a year later, back up on the mountain. And the idea is to get over it, but
the healing does not.
Yeah, and these kids are all trying to find themselves. They've been through a trauma. But in general, they're just teenagers trying to figure out who they are. So they're all kind of falling into the patterns, the stereotypes, the characters they see on TV and in the movies.
I think we were very interested in taking genre tropes and kind of making them sort of refresh them.
Hey, did you see that? Dad said it'd just be us this weekend.
We're familiar with how slasher movies work. Most people have seen some movies, and we have established notions and preconceptions about the roles of the players in horror movies and how they talk and how they get killed and how they have sex. And to bring you into the game that way and then subvert a lot of those expectations.
They're haunted by some incident that happened in their past, which I think you pretty much figure out that that's going to have a role in their interaction. Yeah, so I think what was fun was we take some sort of stock characters and we try to give them some shape.
現実にいないだろそんな
Beginning they're recognizable in
個性の強いおじさん
the way of groups of friends. There's the jock and the
アメフト選手に性悪女
and the rivalries between
互いのライ
everyone.
バル
Oh
意
my
識
gosh. And really fun characters too. We just had so much fun living in the minds of these characters through writing the script.
本当に俺好き嫌いはっきりしたからな。おい Jesus
It was fun. I think we were looking to get that kind of banter that you see both in movies, but also that you absolutely have with friends, and sort of those inside jokes. And of course, as writers and as friends ourselves, we sort of developed little tracks, and we try to give the characters that kind of vibe.
次は音楽。音楽本当怖かったわ。本当に怖かったわ。スコア。モーションウェイ。
Alright, from the top.
何あのヘッドホンのかけ方。かっこいいな。お綺麗ですね。
My name is Jason Graves, and I'm the composer for
若そう。あの人が作ったの？
I've been involved with Until Dawn for about a year now. Originally, I was contacted by Barney Pratt, the audio director. I think that had something to do with my lineage of horror games, and hopefully not the fact that my last name is Graves, although a lot of people seem to associate my name with scary
お
music.
墓って意味なんだ、名字。うわー。
One of the things that was really exciting about working with Barney and the team at Supermassive is they really wanted something unique for the music. They wanted the music to stand out and be a character on its own in the game.
何曲くらい作られたんだろう。
When I'm first starting on a new score, and it doesn't matter if it's film, television, or games, I always end up going to the main theme. Sometimes the developer or producer isn't even necessarily interested in the main theme at the beginning. I just want to do it for myself, because for me the main theme is the identity of the game. It establishes the mood, the atmosphere, and the character of the music and how it's going to be playing in the background. And that's what we did with Until Dawn. That was actually my demo pitch to Supermassive Games. I put a main theme together, recorded all the instruments at my studio, and sent it to them. And they liked it. We actually ended up recording that exact theme, all the instruments and everything, live here at Ocean Way probably 9 months ago. And that's what we've been using in all the demos for the game, and that's the final version of the theme that is the main theme that you'll hear on the menus and in some key pieces of gameplay.
あ、これか。これなんだね。怖いわ。
I seem to have made a name for myself in horror. And there's something about scary music. I think it's maybe the lack of rules. The biggest rule in scary music is there are no rules. So you can do anything you want. And actually, if you end up doing things that don't feel like they would work out together, they kind of clash and it ends up being even more effective for scary music. So that's what really drew me to Until Dawn was the textures, plus writing thematic material that is interwoven with the scary textures. I haven't really done anything like that before. Usually it was just all tension all the time, and that's fun and it's great. But I'm actually at heart a very melodic composer. That's the kind of music I love listening to, and that's the kind of music I love writing. That's the kind of music I got to work on in Until Dawn.
老けたよね。もう一回かよ。何これ、ステージから画面までの道のり。モーションキャプチャー的なあれかな。
My name is Will Miles, Executive Creative Director of Until Dawn. The first part of getting a believable facial performance in game is to capture topographically the actor's range of emotional expressions as separate versions of the same head. Every tiny nuance gets digitized and merged, effectively creating a model that can recreate every facial movement that the actor makes. Once the topography has been recorded, the actor's performance itself can be captured by using a predetermined set of marker points drawn precisely on the face and a high-def helmet cam wirelessly linked to capture devices. The camera is the small box where it looks like the microphone should be.
Outro Sam. Mark.
It records in high def the movement of the dots throughout the performance that will drive the expressions captured earlier. Unlike other systems, this form of capture is far less lossy because there are fewer interpretations between performance captured and performance rendered finally in game. The audio is also recorded via two separate lavalier mics attached to the helmet. It takes a while for the actors to acclimatize to carrying around the recording devices and the helmet cams, but very soon the shoot becomes similar to any other effects shoot or a green screen shoot. The actors in these scenes are only recording facial animation, but use cursory body movements for pacing.
Wait, and maybe we should all stick together and find everybody, make sure that we're all okay, so...
1-1, the year before the prank. Take 2, Mark.
Other than the other actors, they have to use their imagination for everything and everywhere that they are supposed to be seeing and feeling. From a hot midday studio in Los Angeles to a freezing midnight mountain in British Columbia.
British Columbia なんだ。パート2。
Until Dawn has a dynamic, ever-changing story, the facial performances and the body performances are recorded separately with different systems. With the body capture, we use reflective bead suits and an infrared camera matrix system that drives the CG bone hierarchies in our character models. These performances cover everything from character locomotion, scene-specific performances, and stunt work, most of which was recorded at studios in Pinewood and Shepperton, near London.
Anna. Hello?
Combining all the elements seamlessly in the final game becomes a formidable editing and logistical task. Every variation, both physical and emotional, must be combined in these multi-edits. Scaffolding props have to stand in for the sets, because the hundreds of infrared cameras have to be able to see all of the reflected beads on the actor.
一体何って何？何？
America's North Woods border region. Within this land of 10,000 lakes and miles of dense timber, a hideous creature is believed to lurk.
The North Woods is probably one of the last frontiers in America. There's still a lot of places in this area that hasn't been set foot by man. Monsters and mysteries exist here because it is remote.
Up in the North Woods, winters are long. In times of biting cold and isolation, a devouring monster is believed to come forth. It's terrorized native people for generations.
Growing up, I was told, like, don't go outside, the Wendigo will get you.
Wendigo.
Among the traditions of the northern Algonquin tribes is the Wendigo, a monster that can seize hold of a person to carry out its hunger for human flesh.
Many Native Americans fear even talking about this Wendigo, and even the mention of the name will let the Wendigo find out where you are, and it will open you up to be possessed by this Wendigo.
The most famous case of a Wendigo possession took place in 1879 in the deep woods outside of Edmonton, Alberta. Swift Runner, a Cree Indian, was a trapper and a guide. He had left town the previous autumn with his wife, 6 children, and his mother. But when Swift Runner returned in spring, he was alone.
Swift Runner came into a nearby village telling this heartbreaking tale.
I had to watch them starve to death.
Of his family being killed by starvation, and that he was the only survivor.
My whole family.
It wasn't hard to understand a family falling victim to Yet something was suspicious about Swift Runner.
He was a strapping man. He came into town weighing over 200 pounds. It didn't look like somebody who had just weathered a terrible winter. He wasn't malnourished. Didn't look like he was starving. He looked healthier than ever.
After a few nights, it became clear that something was wrong.
He started having night terrors, screaming in his sleep.
Screaming.
I am the Wendigo.
Wendigo. McDonald's.
Alerted the police.
Swift Runner actually guided them back to his winter cabin. When they got there, that's when they saw the true horror. Human skulls were scattered around. Many bones, some of which had been snapped in half, and the marrow inside had been drained. They had never seen anything like it. Swift Runner had killed his entire family, shooting them, hitting them with an axe, strangling, and then eating most of their bodies.
Right up until the moment the noose was on his neck, Swift Runner swore the evil spirit of the Wendigo had possessed him and twisted him into a cannibal killer.
When he was on the gallows, Swift Runner himself said, "I am no longer a man."
ガチ怖い話だったね。はい、ラスト。命が吹き込まれるまで。でも散々見てきたと思うけど。謎の男ってさっき出てたよね。
should never have returned. I don't know why you did after what happened last year.
You mean with Hannah and Beth?
Yeah, how could you know without being involved?
I don't take kindly to you kids coming up here to my
いや、
mouth.
そうだよね。歯抜けてるし。
It's true, but it don't belong to the Washingtons. This
さっきの対談してた人、これだよね。ウェンディゴ、なんか真ん中のウェンディゴ、愉快だったな。
Understanding the ancient myths of the Wendigo was key for their development that helped the visual look. Through sketches and concepts, these elements were visualized, such as eyes being milky, almost dead, with loss of lips and eyelids due to frostbite, fangs growing and arms and legs getting longer, with skin hardening and thickening to look snarling and menacing, yet withered and lean.
What was that?
Wendigo.
Fingers and toenails extending like claws, allowing them to climb effortlessly. We made them look gaunt and weathered, and having ragged remains of clothes they wore. Blood-stained and rotten, with patches of hair still remaining, they retained strong skeletal limbs, which enable them to be agile and quick through the environment.
Where are you?
My name is Jamie Gallipo, animation director at
ガリポー。ガリポーって珍しい名前だね。
The overall direction on the creature was to be very
とても
strong,
力
to be
強く。
extremely fast. We wanted a spider-like movement to the creature. 1 minute
だいぶポジティブな印象を与えるな。力強くとか言われたら。厄介だったわ。ここ俺がやられたとこじゃん。
From a sound design perspective, the Wendigo is a real challenge. For the main vocalizations of the Wendigo, we use our own vocalizations, various different animals from the exotic to the farmyard, various plugins and processes to gel these sounds together and keep a human resonance behind that voice, telling the backstory of the Wendigo.
ウェンディゴの声が結構大変なんだね。あ、これは
During the chase sequences, the anger of the Wendigo is felt by encircling breaths, screams.
これ左だよ、左。そうそうそう。俺逃げたら殺されちゃったんだから。おう。
We would layer them up in a multitude of layers, sometimes 15, 20 sounds playing at the same time, to build up the vocalization for this fearsome creature, which is always in attack mode, hyperactive, and chasing you throughout the game.
あ、結局やられる？大丈夫？あ、これ突き破る方がこれか。はい、終わりです。メイキング一通り見ていただきました。ありがとうございます。もうこれでアンティルドーンほんと最後。あ、待ってよ。その位置俺間違って消したんだよな。撮る？いや、わかんない。まあ、というわけで、ここまでで一通り終わりました。この人最後に映しとこうか。これ謎の男だよな、この人が。寿司三昧ね。じゃあ、ほんと長い間ありがとうございました。アンティルドンおまけの部分も、これで終了します。また別のゲーム、動画、実況で、また会いましょう。お疲れ様です。